We've all felt it, right? That presentation panic.
Mm.
You're in a high-stakes meeting, the CEO is staring at you, and your laptop just completely refuses to talk to the room system.
Oh, yeah. Because the firm installed the hardware, 5 years ago, but your laptop is brand new.
Exactly.
It's the classic generation gap, but for AV hardware. And usually the person standing at the podium pays the price for that mismatch.
Well, today we are doing a deep dive into a device that claims to solve that specific anxiety. We're looking at the Kramer VP-428H2.
Which on paper is a 4K transmitter and scaler.
Right, but looking at the specs, it feels a lot more like a diplomat, like it was designed to force legacy tech and modern gear to just get along.
That really is the core mission here. It addresses what we call the last mile problem in professional setups using HD base 8. It's about taking literally whatever signal you have at the table and guaranteeing it gets to the projector.
And when you look at the inputs, whatever signal is taken very literally. I mean, it handles the modern Staples HDMI and DisplayPort.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see it still rocking a 15-pin HD connector, the humble VGA port, along with unbalanced stereo audio.
It seems almost stubborn in the era of USB-C, doesn't it?
It does, but I get the logic, because you just can't control what a guest speaker brings into your boardroom.
Precisely. If a client pulls out a 10-year-old brick of a laptop, you can't tell them, sorry, we're digital only.
Right.
But the VP-428H2 doesn't just passively pass that signal through. It uses pixel-perfect scaling technology.
Which means?
It maps that fuzzy analog signal, or even a crisp digital one up or down, to perfectly match the display's native resolution.
So it essentially democratizes the inputs.
Yeah.
Treating a VGA signal with the same respect as 4K content.
Exactly.
And speaking of 4K, I noticed it supports 4K at 60 Hz with 4.4.4 chroma sampling. That's a ton of bandwidth for a standard presentation switcher.
It is, but that 4.4.4 spec is critical for PC content. If you're projecting a movie, you can get away with compressing color data.
Right, you wouldn't notice.
But if you're projecting a complex Excel spreadsheet with tiny text,
oh, the compression makes the lines blur.
yes, you need that full chroma sampling for the text to look perfectly crisp.
Okay, so it handles the input fidelity beautifully. But the real engineering heavy lifting is how it gets that data to the screen. It uses HD base E tunneling.
Think of HD base E as a massive pipe. Through a single standard network cable, this device tunnels video, audio, Ethernet,
Bidirectional RS-232 data.
right, and IR control signals all at the same time.
And it shoots that entire package up to 100 meters. That is 330 feet of distance over a simple CA cable.
Which completely solves the installation nightmare of running 5 different cables through a ceiling void. It simplifies the infrastructure immensely.
Plus, it acts as a PoE provider, power over Ethernet.
Huge win for installers.
Yeah, because you don't even need power at the receiving end, right? It just sends the juice straight down the line to the receiver at the projector.
Which means no need to call an electrician to install a new power outlet in the ceiling just for a receiver box.
Now, let's shift to the user experience, because the biggest friction point in these setups is usually the handshake.
Ah.
Yes. You plug in, and the screen goes black for 10 excruciating seconds while the projector figures out what just happened.
The black hole of silence. Kramer actually mitigates this with constant output sync. Basically, the device keeps the sync signal live with the projector even while you're switching inputs.
So the projector never thinks the connection dropped.
Exactly. It doesn't go into that dreaded searching for signal mode.
It just keeps the line open. And combined with auto input switching, where it just grabs the last connected device or scans for an active signal automatically, it makes the tech invisible.
You plug in, it works. It removes the need for anyone to fumble around with a remote control.
I also dug into the menus and found ProCamp controls.
Processing amplifier.
Right. Which it sounds like something from a broadcast studio, not a conference room switcher.
Well, it allows you to tweak color, hue, sharpness, and contrast for each input individually.
That's incredibly smart. So if that old VGA laptop looks totally washed out, you can boost the contrast on just that port without messing up the color for the HDMI users.
It gives the installer granular control to normalize the experience. Every presentation looks uniform regardless of the source device.
It really is a critical piece of infrastructure. It's not the sexy part of the room, but it's the brain making sure the room actually functions.
It's the reliability layer,
Sure.
solving the distance problem and the compatibility problem all at once.
Which brings us to a really interesting conflict in the industry right now. because everyone is screaming for wireless casting, right? Cut the cord, bring your own device.
Wireless is convenient, certainly.
But when you look at a box like this, capable of pushing uncompressed 4K and power 330 feet down a physical copper wire without a single glitch, it really makes you wonder.
Wonder what?
In those high-stakes environments where failure just isn't an option, are physical cables still the undisputed kings?
When your career depends on the slide appearing on the screen when you hit the button, I think the answer is yes.
Definitely something for you to consider next time you are frantically fumbling for a dongle. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.